So, week 5 half marathon training is up. It's been a bit of an odd week actually. Plan for the week was, as it usually is, a mixture of sort of easy, moderate, easy runs with a couple of higher effort runs. In this case, it was meant to be a tempo run on Tuesday, which is sort of a heart rate zone 3 run for an extended period of time. So sort of like a pushing middle ground effort-wise. That was due on Tuesday. Then Friday was meant to be long intervals, which in this case was just 3 reps, but the reps were 5 minutes in zone 4 and 3 minutes in zone 1 or 2. And then obviously Sunday long run. And to start it all, obviously last week it was a bit of a random week. Didn't really follow any kind of training plan because it was a holiday period, and got a long run in, various things, absolutely killer hills. So coming back on Monday to the run, I felt okay, but to be honest, actually I felt really rough on Monday after the run. I don't think the run had anything to do with it. So Tuesday's run was just dropped. I just didn't feel that was high on my agenda when I woke up, and frankly wanted to just curl up and go back to bed, which obviously I did. But this week's been quite a struggle to actually get going. I've never really had challenges when it comes to motivation. I've never sort of like jumped up in the air every 5:15 when my alarm goes off, hugged the alarm, thanked it for waking me up, and sprinted off to find my running shoes. I've usually had that, why am I getting up at 5:15 thought, but normally that's about it. This week's been a bit of a struggle. I don't know whether it's coming back off holiday and the sort of change that holiday brings, whether it's the realisation actually that this week seems to have been quite a noticeable change in the sort of light level at 5:15. It's, when I wake up, it's not particularly shiny outside. So maybe that feeling of, the season edging towards morning runs being more dark than light, or what, I don't know. But it's been harder, which has been an odd one for me. It's not something I've really experienced, and I hope that's, sort of edging away. It's not particularly felt like it. It's still feeling hard to get up in the mornings, but my running has been pretty good this week. So my tempo run was nothing to write home about. It was perfectly normal, but I was really happy with my long intervals. Running at 5 minutes for 3 repeats with a recovery in between, and my average time there was, I think, sub 4 minute kilometres, which I've achieved quite comfortably when I've been doing sort of like 60 or 90 second intervals. But to do a 5 minute interval block and actually hit sub 4 minute kilometres on average, I'm really pleased. I got a second fastest 5k training time of just over 20 minutes, which is also really cool. I've never quite got under 20 minutes, I think, for a 5k. Well, no, I haven't. So it would be jumping up and down if I did. So the results of the training seem to be coming well. Even my Garmin is telling me every time I'm doing a run that my performance indicators are going up. Take that with a pinch of salt as you like. It's probably telling me something, but I'm not going to write home about it either. So, the results of the runs have been good, but it's been a little bit more of a struggle to get out. I think it's doing the maths, as it checks his book. We've got 5 weeks until race day. If we include next week, the coming week. So, time's pressing on. Performance seems to be okay. I just hope that this sort of morning lethargy and sort of slightly harder to stoke the fire first thing in the morning, sort of dwindles away a little bit. The seasons are against me in that hope, but you've got to try. As it is for next week, the plan, and just to sort of show you where the plan comes from, this is the book that essentially I use for building my plans. It's the 80-20 running book by Matt Fitzgerald, and all of the runs are based around effort. I like to use the heart rate zone effort. For me, it's quite a clinical way of doing it. I don't think I'd trust myself to use an effort where I'm sort of like assessing personally whether I'm putting in lots of effort or I'm trying really hard or I'm trying half as hard as I could try, kind of thing. So I go with the heart rate zone as my measures of effort, and this book I just find is a really good guide. It creates a number of training plans for a number of distances. So I'm doing the level 2 half marathon training plan, which I think works really well. So the next week's training is, again, you've got a mixture of recoveries and foundation runs, as it's called, so sort of level 1s and level 1 and 2 runs. And the plan also has another long interval session. This one's got an extra rep in it, so that'll be interesting to see whether or not a fourth rep at 5 minutes in zone 4 can also achieve the same sort of just under 4 minute per kilometre time. I'll be interested to see how that goes. There's a cruise interval run in there as well, which is a zone 3 run, so it's a bit like a tempo run, but it's a longer period of time. And then the long run at the end of the week, and that one is designed to be a long run where you're working in low heart rate zones, but actually you've got a fast finish at the end of that, so it's designed to be, I don't exactly know how long the distance is. It's probably in the region of about 12 miles, 10 miles, 12 miles, and the last mile and a half, maybe 2, will be the fastest. So you're meant to, sort of like give your legs a real push at the end of a long run. Hopefully they respond and go faster, but we'll see. I admit the long runs I don't tend to stick quite so closely to the plan. I tend to really just take the long runs and get the distances and get the time on the feet and go for that. And if I happen to manage to put a pattern in for a long run, whether it's a fast finish, whether it's a long run with little speed intervals in it and stuff like that, great. But I'm more inclined to think that the real benefit of that long run is exactly that. It's the long run, it's the time, it's the amount of time you spend on a Sunday morning, in my case, running around, pushing the miles out, and it's not particularly about speed or anything like that. So that's the plan for next week. Hopefully that all goes well. I've also posted a video on the Facebook page for the long run I did when I was away down in Cornwall. If you've got 5 minutes, or apologies, I think it's more like 12. I think that's a good little video summing up some of the amazing scenery that I got to experience whilst I was out there on the Southwest Coastal Path. Whether that's a beneficial training week for half marathon training, don't know, but hills are not a bad thing to be able to factor in. And if you go down to Cornwall and expect to run on the coastal path and not meet a hill every 500 yards at least, you've probably gone to the wrong place, because hills are what it does. So I'm kind of hoping that that's not a bad little week. Not particularly high mileage, but certainly high elevation. So yeah, roll on week 6. A few more weeks, and then we'll be hitting Windsor for my PB course, seeing if we can't push that half marathon time down closer to 1:30, or if dreams can come true and you can go under. Let's just see what we can do.